The dark circle under her green eyes tell the story of a young girl growing up in Frankfurt, Germany. She was the daughter of a veteran. Her father was a drummer boy, never fighting, only cooking and playing the rhythm to make others dance. Even during the war, my family had the ability to bring people together and put a smile on their face. I said a joke to try and bring a smile to my mother's wrinkled face. She didn't laugh or cry. She looked at me dead in my eyes like a snake studying the movement of their prey. She grabbed me by the hand, saying, "Pack my bags, we are going to the hospital." I wanted to save her from the pain I knew I was causing her. I knew that the first step in doing this was to follow her rules. I packed my silver foam posits, my APC jeans, and my red Levi sweater. I was wearing my leather unicorn belt, but they took that and my shoelaces away from me as soon as I entered the hospital. As we were waiting to be seen from the devil in the white coat, my father made a joke about hanging myself with these objects. I laughed as I ran up against the padded walls. He watched in amazement as I bounced back and forth, feeling no physical pain as the cushion softened the blows. He told me that I looked crazy. I smiled back, saying, "That's what got me here. I have the golden ticket." When the doctor finally came in, he told us that I need to go to the mental hospital tonight. As we waited for the ambulance to arrive, we watched the box hanging from the ceiling. The silence of their voices and the noise of the television made me feel like I was at home. My father was beside me and my mother was asleep, holding my hand. It was 2 days until my sisters came to visit. I have 4 older sisters, but only 3 came to see me. My favorite sister, Marissa, never came to say hello. She was afraid of my schizophrenic neighbors, my family told me. Hospitals make her feel uncomfortable. I know that in my heart, it was I that she feared the most. My family would bring me burgers, oatmeal, spaghetti, and warm cookies. They weren't homemade because nobody had the energy to do anything those days. They spent their days worrying about me and their nights visiting my friends and I on Spruce Street. When it was time for a smoke break, I would join all of the crazies out on the balcony. We were caged in like monkeys, overlooking a grave and tall buildings. The city was loud, yet the voices in their heads were even louder. They would ask me to take a cigarette for them. I took 2. One for them to smoke and another for them to trade in a late-night game of poker. I would breathe in the smell of tobacco. It reminded me of my mother. Inhaling for peace of mind. Was it back in Germany that she learned how to escape the pain? I wanted to learn to breathe. I found myself running in place in my room. The calluses began to build up on my feet. I am in downward dog, crow pose, and pigeon, yet I still can't find my breath. I take a shower with the door half cracked. The nurse gives me a dull razor to shave my face with. I clean my naked body, scrubbing underneath the dark spots that my mother would always check. The nurse knocks on the door. Outside of my room, the doctors are waiting for me. Quickly, I am entrapped in their circle. Most of the doctors are young, and I can tell that this is the first time they have ever seen crazy. The lead doctor strings together a bunch of big words to try and create a simple sentence for me to understand. The only 3 words that mattered were, "You are bipolar." I figured, I said, smiling back. "Do you have any questions for me?" "Is this forever?" I say to him. He talks in circles and then takes me through a maze of confusion. In the end, he answers yes. But he says it can be managed with proper medication, right diet, exercise, and a self-care plan. "So I need to take lithium forever?" I say as my lip begins to quiver. "Yes, James." I can feel my hands begin to sweat. I want to place them around his freshly shaven neck. He does not know my name. He has no right to use my name in a sentence. "Anything else?" he says to me. "No, that is all," I reply. It is hours before I get to see my family again. I sit in my room with my roommate as he tries to console me. His words do not help. I can tell that he lost control a long time ago. As our conversation ends, he begins to fall asleep, and his nightmares come screaming through his fragile body. I leave the room to find silence. The hallways were no escape. My neighbors were pacing back and forth, talking to themselves, talking to the nurses, talking to anybody that would listen. I keep my head down and head straight for the kitchen, waiting for my family to return. My mom and dad come. My girlfriend were there too. She was crying as she walked through the doors. I held her in my arms and listened to her closely. I was almost fired today at work. I threw all of the silverware away, got 3 orders wrong, and spilled coffee all over an old lady. I'm sorry, I said, it's my fault. She hugged me tight and we cried together. I looked up at her and said, my day wasn't much better. The doctors told me that I am bipolar, I said. No shit, Sherlock, my dad replies. We laugh to hide the tears. I have something to cheer us all up, my mother says. I made spaghetti with meatballs, and I even bought the Parmesan cheese. I run out from the kitchen and into my room. I wake up my roommate, telling him that my mom finally found the strength to make her spaghetti sauce. We entered the kitchen together and ate at the round table next to our friends who spoke of aliens and the pyramids. 4 years ago, the doctor told me that bipolar was a lifelong condition. 4 years ago, the same doctor told me that I was going to be on lithium forever. It's been a year now since I have last taken my daily dose of 900 milligrams of lithium. I stand here today taller than I have ever stood before, and I can proudly say that I have never been this stable in my life. I remember the feeling of coming off lithium for the first time. It was as if I was reborn again. I could feel my soul entering through my crown, filling the empty space where despair once lived. I felt a tingling sensation in my hands and acceptance in my toes. As I look in the mirror, I now see the same dark circles as my mother. The darkness is a reminder of the stories from the past and how far I've come.